Greetings, this is the Questing GM for RPG Day 2020, and today is day 29 for the word ride. Been quite a ride doing all these RPG Day videos for almost 31 days straight, some days more videos than others. On the word ride, the only thing I can really think about, there's always that one player who is just there for the ride. Sometimes both literally and figuratively, while the other player is their ride home. That's not necessarily a negative thing to be looked at. Either they are not fully aware of what contributions they can make to the group, or maybe, or I would say they are indifferent but are not engaged, and some are they just feel like they are contributing something but not in the ways that you would expect them to. I don't think I had a lot of players like that in my group. The players who come to my games, at least the players that I have are in for the ride, so to speak, and on my shoulders and on the player's shoulders to be driving them for the ride. And maybe that's one other thing we can talk about rides is who's exactly driving it. And I would say the answer actually is both. GM can steer them to a direction, but someone still has to press on the accelerator, and more often than not, that's probably on the player's side. It's easy on the player's side to press on the accelerator and maybe for the GM to hit the brakes, but in the general direction is whose driver is holding the steering wheel, and that depends on the vehicle that the game is. If it's an open sandbox, maybe the players are holding the steering wheel. If it's a more railroaded experience, then you probably see the GM as the train driver. But in every case, I think, in terms of a ride, as a driving as an experience, pacing is also another thing we can talk about. Rides, is it a roller coaster ride? Is there different sets or structure to how we set the ride? Are there different sections that the ride is divided into? These are definitely some things that we can think about when we are trying to organize the ride. Although in my experience, trying to have a structure to your ride probably that never ends the way you want it. Things go the way it is, and as a GM, I sometimes am also just enjoying the ride or going along on the ride that the players are taking me through, even though I have a roadmap for them, and sometimes they just don't follow it, which is fine. I think in some ways, maybe if there's really something to really take away from the idea of a ride, is that everyone has a part to play in it. Like I said, the GM can be holding the wheel, steering the group steering the car or the game in certain directions, but it's up to the players to press on this acceleration, step on the brakes. How many passengers are there in the car? Do we want music? What kind of car it is that we are using? As long as everyone's on the same car, and hopefully group suddenly says that I want to sit on an airplane, then I think we are pretty much fine. We sort of need to recognize that everyone has a part to play in the ride. Hopefully it will be an enjoyable experience. It will be an enjoyable ride through our imaginations, through our expressions, through our fun. Maybe we can come back and do it again. But sometimes, once the ride stops, we go our separate ways, and maybe we go start looking for another ride. So I guess that'll be all for RPG Day 2020, day 29 for the word ride, and I'll see you on day 30.